The NBA has just imposed a shocking lifetime ban on the Portland Trail Blazers after federal authorities exposed what they described as a full-scale, multi-million-dollar gambling network directly linked to the franchise. And now, the FBI has officially stepped in.
The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing.
What federal agents uncovered inside the team's very own facility completely changed the course of this story. The FBI's raid wasn't just unexpected, it was explosive.
Now to a major shakeup in the world of sports. So earlier today, the FBI announced charges against Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier in connection to separate but related gambling charges. Also charged today, former Cleveland Cavalier guard Damon Jones.
On that infamous Thursday morning, FBI agents carried out a coordinated sweep across 11 states, arresting 34 individuals in what federal investigators are calling one of the most elaborate illegal betting operations in American sport history. Among those taken into custody were names that left fans speechless: Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, and former NBA player and assistant coach Damon Jones. But here's where everything flipped on its head. This wasn't about casual betting or leaking insider info to friends. Investigators uncovered a tangled criminal web connected to four notorious New York crime families: the Bonanno, Gambino, Lucchese, and Genovese families. Yes, you heard correctly. The actual mafia had infiltrated the NBA, fixing games and orchestrating rigged poker operations that cheated victims out of millions upon millions of dollars.
FBI Director Kash Patel, during a news conference about this investigation, here's what he was able to tell us.
This is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years.
FBI Director Kash Patel personally led a press conference in New York City, calling this one of the most significant criminal busts in sports and organized crime history, an operation that tied together the NBA and La Cosa Nostra. When the director of the FBI himself takes the podium, you know the stakes are monumental. This isn't a local bust. This is federal, top-tier criminal prosecution. The investigation exposed two intertwined yet separate crime rings. The first was a mafia-backed poker scheme using high-tech cheating methods that scammed wealthy players out of at least $7 million since 2019. We're talking X-ray poker tables, tampered shufflers, marked cards visible only through contact lenses, and digital chip trays that tracked every bet in real time. This wasn't your grandfather's poker night. This was Ocean's 11 meets The Godfather, except it was horrifyingly real. The second operation was an insider sports betting plot that manipulated at least 7 NBA games between March 2023 and March 2024, raking in hundreds of thousands through prop bets based on private information. Players and coaches allegedly shared updates about injuries, rest schedules, and early exits, intel that gave gamblers nearly guaranteed profits. At exactly 6 a.m. Pacific time that same Thursday, FBI agents arrived at Chauncey Billups' Portland home. Billups, who had coached an NBA game just hours earlier, was taken into custody. Imagine it. One moment you're commanding professionals on the court, and the next, federal officers are outside your house with handcuffs. Meanwhile, across the country in Orlando, Florida, Terry Rozier was taken into custody inside his hotel room, the same one where the Miami Heat had stayed after their game the previous night. Imagine this. You're a professional athlete, waking up thinking about practice and film study, and instead, the FBI is standing at your bedside, reading your rights. Now let's talk about Chauncey Billups, because this isn't just any coach we're talking about. Billups is a 5-time NBA All-Star, the 2004 NBA Finals MVP, and was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2024. This is Mr. Big Shot, the same man who led the Detroit Pistons to a championship and earned his nickname for his nerves of steel in the clutch. And now, he's staring down federal charges that could lock him away for up to 40 years. Terry Rozier, on the other hand, has earned over $160 million throughout his NBA career and was currently playing under a $26.6 million contract with the Miami Heat. Known to fans as Scary Terry for his high-octane scoring and fearless play, he's now at the center of one question everyone keeps asking. Why would a player earning that kind of money risk everything for illegal gambling profits?
The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra, to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families.
The involvement of organized crime families adds an entirely new level of threat and complexity that makes this scandal unlike any other in sports betting history. These four mafia families didn't just collect on the sidelines. They built, managed, and enforced the entire system. They supplied armed guards for underground poker games, used violence to recover unpaid debts, and demanded 20 to 30% cuts from all profits as their vig or protection tax. When gamblers failed to pay what they owed, sometimes debts exceeding $300,000, they were met with brutal consequences. Pistol whippings, arson attacks on their homes, even threats to have their knees shattered. This wasn't some friendly poker night gone too far. This was organized crime, operating at elite levels and using NBA stars as bait to attract wealthy marks. The NBA's reaction came instantly. Within hours of the arrests, both Billups and Rozier were placed on indefinite paid leave, with the league announcing, "We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains our top priority." The Portland Trail Blazers quickly promoted assistant coach Tiago Splitter to interim head coach for their next matchup, while the Miami Heat benched Rozier even before the arrest details went public. Both franchises now find themselves scrambling to contain the fallout from federal indictments tied directly to their teams. But what's truly chilling for fans is that this isn't the NBA's first run-in with a gambling disaster. Only 18 months earlier, Jonte Porter of the Toronto Raptors was handed a lifetime ban in April 2024 for manipulating prop bets in a nearly identical scheme. Porter later pleaded guilty to wire fraud conspiracy in July 2024. And here's the kicker. Several defendants in this new case are the same people who pressured Porter to keep throwing games. The Porter precedent matters because it laid out the exact punishment for game fixing. A lifetime ban, no appeals, no exceptions. According to NBA Constitution Article 35, anyone proven to have influenced the outcome of a game faces immediate termination and permanent disqualification, a final, non-reversible ruling.
It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud, in theft, in robbery, across a multi-year investigation.
When FBI Director Patel emphasizes the
When FBI Director Kash Patel highlighted the financial magnitude so intensely, making sure to clarify that it wasn't just millions but tens of millions of dollars, the scale of this case finally hit home. This wasn't some small-time hustle. This was industrial-level fraud that preyed on the world's biggest basketball league. The timing of the arrest was equally jaw-dropping, taking place just 2 days into the NBA's 2025-26 season, right as the league celebrated opening night with a lineup of star-filled games. Commissioner Adam Silver had recently appeared on the Pat McAfee show, voicing his unease about prop betting and the risk of manipulation. But what the public didn't know was that federal agents were already on the verge of detonating this bombshell.
Guys, you feel free to weigh in now, Shaq. You've heard from Shams. You saw the FBI director speaking about this. What do you think?
I know everybody that's at play. I don't like to sit up here and be hypocritical about certain things. I'm a homeboy gambler, bet it. We've been on teams, we played cards, we played spades, we played talk. But with that being said, every year they would give us forums on what and what not to do. One of those things where if somebody asks you if a certain player is playing, you say no. So all these guys knew what was at stake, and I'm just ashamed that they put themselves and put their family and put the NBA in this position.
The poker scheme and high.
Now, let's unpack the first of these two major schemes, the poker scam and the high-tech fraud. This mafia-backed, rigged poker operation could have been lifted straight from a Martin Scorsese crime classic. It wasn't some smoky basement card game. It was a sprawling, years-long enterprise powered by some of the most advanced cheating systems ever uncovered in a criminal case. These poker sessions revolved around high-stakes Texas Hold'em tournaments hosted in ultra-exclusive locations. Manhattan penthouses in areas like Kips Bay and the West Village, lavish estates in the Hamptons, luxury casinos in Las Vegas, private clubs in Miami, and secretive homes designed for the ultra-wealthy elite. The buy-ins range from $10,000 to $100,000 per game, clearly signaling the level of wealth they targeted. Here's where it gets fascinating. Chauncey Billups allegedly served as what prosecutors described as a face card, a celebrity lure to pull wealthy participants into these crooked games. Think about it. If you're a hedge fund executive or a Silicon Valley millionaire, getting the chance to play poker with an NBA Hall of Famer, someone whose finals highlights you watched, someone whose jersey might hang in your closet, that's irresistible. It added credibility, glamour, and the illusion of exclusivity. According to the federal indictment, Billups received hefty kickbacks for taking part. One documented payout of $50,000 after a single poker session in 2019, and recurring cuts ranging between 5 to 10% of the house's winnings. That translated to tens of thousands of dollars each night he appeared. But the real twist lies in the technology that made this possible. The crew used Deckmate 2 card shuffling machines that had been stolen during an armed robbery in the Bronx in 2022. These weren't ordinary casino devices. They were stolen precisely because they could be reprogrammed to cheat.
We just did a special on YouTube, and where a shuffle machine was hacked. What happens is the Deckmate 2 has a camera in it. And what that camera does, it notifies the casino or the dealer or the house if a card is missing. Also, if you took a deck of cards and put it to that machine, the cameras know every card and can actually sort that deck out and put it back in order for you for the next day or the next play. Well, the cheaters came up with ways of utilizing that camera as well to know what cards are being dealt and who's getting.
Once altered, the machines were embedded with RFID chips and Bluetooth transmitters capable of scanning full decks and relaying the order of cards in real time to off-site spotters. Those spotters then texted quarterbacks seated at the table, feeding them intel on where each card sat in the sequence. The communication was subtle yet brilliant. A single chip tap for hearts, 2 taps for diamonds, quick ear tugs, or light foot nudges under the table to signal teammates about opponents' whole cards and upcoming river cards. This system granted them staggering 80 to 90% win rates, which in poker terms is virtually impossible. But wait, there's more. The scheme also deployed X-ray-equipped poker tables capable of literally viewing face-down cards. These tables contain built-in cameras hidden beneath the green felt, allowing operators to scan and identify cards resting on the surface from below.
Explain all of it. The X-ray table. That's just a table that has cameras built into it that look upward at the cards. It can actually see through the green felt, so you can use any of cards. As long as the cards lie above the camera can see.
In addition, conspirators use electronic chip trays with embedded cameras that monitor community cards and track betting activity in real time. They also relied on custom infrared marked decks paired with special contact lenses, visible only to players wearing those lenses. Prosecutors allege that Chauncey Billups wore such lenses during at least 3 poker sessions in 2021 and 2022, enabling him to make unbelievable folds and perfectly timed bluffs that stripped a Silicon Valley venture capitalist of $250,000 in a single hand. Wiretap evidence captured Billups joking after one winning night about easy money, while he coordinated dividing profits via Venmo transfers to shell accounts masking the trail. Text messages reveal him organizing with co-defendants to bring in whales, industry slang for wealthy high rollers, to upcoming games, promising he'd supply the star power needed to hook them. Now, the organized crime component is what elevates this beyond mere cheating into something far more sinister. Out of the 32 defendants listed in the poker indictment, 11 were confirmed made men or affiliates of the 4 mafia families. These included Angelo Ruggiero Jr., grandson of John Gotti's infamous underboss, and Julius, the Blade Ziliani of the Banano family. According to prosecutors, the mafia provided sanctioning, formal approval, and protection for the games, in return for a 20 to 30% cut of all profits. More importantly, they handled enforcement, when gamblers refused to pay debts, sometimes surpassing $300,000, mob enforcers stepped in violently. The indictment recounts multiple assaults. In June 2022, a suspect named Amomar Flapper Poker Awai allegedly pistol-whipped a man who withheld payment. And in another 2021 case, a Miami debtor's yacht was torched, a fiery warning to settle up. The money laundering system was just as intricate. Proceeds from a poker network were washed through cryptocurrency exchanges, with Bitcoin converted into untraceable tokens like Monero via proxy accounts on Binance. Additional funds were funneled through bogus consulting firms and shell corporations, forming dense paper trails designed to bury any connection to illegal gambling revenue. Billups was later released on $100,000 bond under stringent terms: GPS ankle monitoring, passport surrender, weekly probation check-ins, a total ban on gambling, and no contact with co-defendants except through lawyers. His next court appearance is scheduled for November 14th, 2025, in Brooklyn Federal Court. His attorney, Christopher Haywood, issued a statement rejecting all accusations. Chauncey Billups is a man of honor. To claim he jeopardized his Hall of Fame legacy, reputation, and freedom for a poker game is absurd. He has never backed down and will not start now.
Core Rozier's arrest is a March 2023 game that saw an uptick of Rozier bets come in on the under. Rozier left the game just 9 minutes in, citing a foot injury. Rozier had previously not.
Yet prosecutors remain unwaveringly confident in their case, armed with mountains of digital evidence, financial records, and undercover footage suggesting this web of corruption may stretch even further into the league than anyone dared to imagine. Prosecutors say their confidence comes from overwhelming evidence. Fingerprints on seized shuffling machines, extensive text logs, financial records revealing Venmo transfers to shell accounts, and wiretap recordings indicating Chauncey Billups was fully aware of the operation. The federal charges against Billups are extraordinarily severe. Conspiracy to commit wire fraud carries up to 20 years in federal prison, while conspiracy to commit money laundering adds another 20 years. Though sentencing guidelines and the possibility of a plea deal mean he's unlikely to serve the full 40 years, prosecutors believe a realistic outcome will be 5 to 7 years, plus several $1 million in restitution to defrauded victims. For Billups, this marks a devastating collapse from the heights of success. Here's a man who once had it all: championship titles, all-star honors, an NBA Finals MVP and Hall of Fame induction. He'd smoothly transitioned from player to coach, earning around $6 million per year in salary. Admired as a role model and respected throughout the basketball world, his reputation now teeters on the brink of ruin. Now, shifting focus to the insider betting scheme, the second major branch of this probe, we reach the scandal's emotional core. This part hits home for every basketball fan, as it raises a haunting question.
The reason I'm mad at Kenny is, man, this ain't got nothing to do with damn gambling addiction. This ain't got nothing to do with addiction. These dudes are stupid. Why are they stupid? Under no circumstances can you fix basketball games. Under no circumstances. I love to gamble. The notion, like, Rozier makes $26 million. Him betting, giving people information or taking himself out of games, how much is he gonna benefit taking himself out the game to get unders? Like, he's making $26 million. The notion he gave, how much of these guys he gave a head up, he took himself out of games on prop bets. How much money is he gonna make?
Were the games we've been watching genuine competitions or pre-scripted outcomes built for profit? According to the indictment, 6 defendants were charged in a conspiracy that exploited confidential NBA data. The setup was deceptively simple but devastatingly efficient. If someone knew beforehand that a player would miss a game, leave early, or struggle due to an undisclosed injury, they could place hugely profitable bets on that player's statistical unders. In modern sports betting, where prop bets account for nearly 40% of all NBA wagers, insider knowledge is gold. The scheme allegedly spanned 7 NBA games between December 2022 and March 2024, generating over $500,000 in illicit gains. At its core was Terry Rozier's alleged manipulation of a game on March 23, 2023. That night, the Charlotte Hornets hosted the New Orleans Pelicans. just hours before tip-off. Rozier wasn't listed on any injury report and was expected to play his normal minutes. But according to wiretap transcripts, Rozier allegedly texted his longtime friend Dairo Laster. Gonna bout early Q1, head check, no return. It was a coded message signaling he'd leave the game early under the pretense of a head injury.
The important thing for us to point out here is that the NBA, all the broadcasters have been looking for various ways to increase revenue over the past several years. And Vegas has been with open arms, or gambling, not just Vegas itself. Like Vegas has the markers that catches these things. The NBA, they only have so many resources that can catch gambling when it happens on prop bets and everything.
Laster, identified as a key broker, allegedly sold this information for $100,000 to another defendant, who then distributed it through a betting network. The group wagered over $200,000 across FanDuel, DraftKings, and offshore sites, all targeting Rozier's statistical unders. Under 15.5 points, under 4.5 assists, under 3.5 rebounds, and under 2.5 threes made. And here's the damning part. Rozier played 9 minutes and 34 seconds, logging 5 points on 2 4, 7 shooting, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 0 threes. After apparent contact with LaMelo Ball, he went to the bench and was ruled out for the remainder of the game with a head injury. Every single under bet hit, generating roughly $180,000 in profit. Interview 1911-1928. What made this entire situation so suspicious was a drastic movement in the betting lines. Shifts that sportsbooks immediately recognized. The underlines on Rozier's prop bets jumped sharply from 120 to 150 in the hours before tip-off, signaling that massive sums of money were suddenly being placed on one outcome. These are the exact red flags that trigger insider information alerts across betting platforms. The NBA did conduct an internal review of that March 2023 game and publicly cleared Terry Rozier, releasing a statement on January 30th, 2024, claiming no evidence of rule violations had been found. What fans didn't realize, however, was that federal investigators were already running a far deeper, covert probe, one that used surveillance tools and financial tracing far beyond the league's reach. Agents relied on wiretaps, transaction data, hidden camera footage, and cooperating witnesses. The decisive piece of evidence came from surveillance video. On April 1st, 2023, at approximately 2:17 a.m., Laster was recorded pulling into Rozier's $1.2 million Charlotte home. Footage in the garage captured both men counting stacks of cash, roughly $45,000, believed to be Rozier's personal share of the illegal profits. Those funds were later laundered through Cash App transfers into shell accounts designed to conceal their origin. Rozier's attorney, Jim Trusty, has fought back hard, denouncing the FBI's pre-dawn arrest as nothing more than a publicity stunt. In a statement, he said, "They're relying on spectacularly unreliable sources instead of hard evidence. Terry isn't a gambler, but he's not backing down either, and he intends to fight this." Yet the scandal doesn't stop there. Evidence suggests Chauncey Billups' role may stretch beyond the poker scheme. In the sports betting indictment, prosecutors mention an uncharged co-conspirator 8, described as an Oregon resident, a former NBA player active between 1997 and 2014, and currently an NBA coach since at least 2021. That description aligns almost perfectly with Billups. According to federal text records on March 24th, 2023, this co-conspirator allegedly messaged Eric Ernest, an individual charged in both criminal cases, claiming that the Portland Trail Blazers plan to tank their upcoming home matchup against the Chicago Bulls. The text disclosed that 4 starters, Damian Lillard, Jusuf Nurkic, Jeremy Grant, and Anthony Simons, would sit out with injuries long before any official report surfaced. This insider tip enabled the betting ring to wager roughly $100,000 on the Bulls to win, and sure enough, the Blazers lost 121-93, just as predicted. Interview 2145, 2232. Charles Barkley's emotional outbursts sum up what millions were already thinking. These weren't people in financial distress. Terry Rozier was earning $26 million, and Chauncey Billups had a multi-million-dollar coaching deal. So why risk everything for what, in their world amounts to spare change, the organized crime connection only deepens a mystery. While Rozier's specific case doesn't show direct mafia coordination, prosecutors note overlaps. Defendants Eric Ernest and Shane Hennon link both scandals, suggesting that poker profits may have funded the betting operations. Looking ahead, the consequences could be career-ending. Under NBA Constitution Article 35, any confirmed game manipulation triggers a lifetime ban, final and beyond appeal. Should Rozier be convicted, his $26.6 million contract would be void, freeing Miami's salary cap, but ending his basketball career permanently. As for Billups, although disciplinary standards for coaches are less defined, Commissioner Adam Silver has the power to impose penalties ranging from heavy fines to suspension or even permanent expulsion from coaching. The wider implications for the NBA are enormous. Americans wagered an estimated $147.9 billion through legal sportsbooks in 2024, and with gambling now fully woven into fan engagement, betting ads are everywhere, from halftime broadcasts to team sponsorships. Interview 2351, 2400 hours 23. Recently, Commissioner Silver has advocated for limits on certain prop bets, pushing for stricter oversight to curb potential manipulation. The league has already expanded injury reporting protocols and is exploring tougher anti-tanking policies. But the real damage may be intangible, the loss of trust. Every close finish, every sudden injury, every strange coaching call will now invite suspicion. The slow erosion of faith in authentic competition may become the scandal's longest-lasting scar. As this case moves through federal court, uncertainty lingers. Will more players be named? Will insiders flip for reduced sentences? What punishments will ultimately be handed down? But the most haunting question of all, can the NBA ever rebuild the faith it's lost? One thing is clear, professional basketball stands at a crossroads. The fusion of legalized gambling, mobile technology, massive money, and human greed has created the perfect storm. Without stronger protections, this won't be the last time integrity collapses under temptation. The FBI has confirmed that the investigation remains active, hinting at more arrests and deeper revelations to come. But for now, October 23rd, 2025, will go down as the day the NBA's gambling nightmare became reality, and the day Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier's legacies were permanently stained by greed, deceit, and betrayal. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, tap one of the boxes on your screen to explore more stories just like this.